and essential. From mouth-watering food to the latest in fashion, health, education, music, movies, and news, plus thrilling sports and breathtaking travel, our TV network brings it all to you. Tune in today and experience the best of every world, all in one place, rtv.network.
The voice of Florida. Your voice is our choice with Dr. Karen Green.
Wow, c'est choix nous.
Tu voz es nuestra elección.
Ta voix, c'est notre choix.
The voice of Florida.
La voz de la Florida.
Your voice is our choice with Dr. Karen Green.
Hello, welcome to the Coaxum Report. Little technical difficulties, but it is all good. My name is Terry Coaxum, and I am your host. And it is truly a pleasure to be joining you from Chicago today. And I have some super amazing women that are here with me that have also joined the DNC here in Chicago. Of course, I have Dr. Karen Green, and I also have my sister from another mister, Carol Burke, and we are here to just share the excitement and the energy around today, yesterday. You know, we're in day 3, and it's been very, very powerful to be a part of the DNC. And so those of you that are tuning in, you can join us on Roku, you can join us on Apple, on Amazon Fire. You can also join us on WSTX Bloomberg. So as we're here on StreamYard, we're also on the radio. So it is truly a pleasure. Carol, how are you? How's it going? How's the convention?
Oh my gosh. I don't even know. I told some folks back home yesterday when I was talking on a radio program, I said, send me some bush tea, please. Because, you know, the medicinal properties in bush tea will awaken every fiber in my body. That's what I need right now. I'm running on low, but at the same time, I'm pacing myself because this event is not only awesome, it's historic.
That's right.
And it's very important that being here and being a part of everything that it represents, that we're able to not just share what we feel, it's important that we're able to take it back to our communities and get people fully engaged in the process. And that's the end result that we want to make happen.
Well, first of all, Carol, before we jump into what's going on here at the convention, I want you to tell my listening audience who you are. You say back home and bush tea. I'm thinking Virgin Islands, but I want to make sure others understand what you're talking about as well. So tell us a little bit about who you are and what you're at the DNC doing.
Okay, I am a Virgin Islander. I'm talking about St. Croix, St. Thomas, and St. John, the U.S. Virgin Islands. Born and bred, and as well I'm here in Chicago, cold Chicago. I mean, that's relative. But I'm here because I'm here to support the nomination of Vice President Kamala Harris. I was getting a little emotional there, but in her bid to be the next president of the United States.
Yes,
And
yes.
so I'm here in my capacity as the delegation chair of the Democratic Party of the Virgin Islands, as well as the vice chair of the party.
That's right.
And I'm here to lead my delegation um, into being very supportive of the nomination, not only because it's important to us, but also because Virgin Islands, the Virgin Islands and other territories are yet to be able to vote for the President of the United States. We continue that fight, and this is part of our engagement here, and we want to make sure that every effort towards that is inclusive in the nomination and the presidency of Vice President Kamala Harris.
Awesome, Carol. Awesome, Carol. So, in your capacity right now, you're here at the Democratic National Convention in cold Chicago. We're going to re-emphasize that because Carol is cold because she's an island girl. So, she's used to the warmth, but she's here in cold Chicago because there's a reason. We're here because we understand that this is history in the making. We understand that it is our duty and our job to be here to get the information. Carol's capacity as delegate, making sure that she is informing the delegation and that she's leading them to make sure that we are the voice, that we are doing what we need to do to push this forward, because we know that Kamala Harris is the best candidate for president, and we want to make sure that we're doing our part. Thank you so much, Carol, for sharing that with us. And we also have the voice of Florida with us, Terry Green, who is also majority whip in Florida. So we have the Virgin Islands, we have Florida, New York, and New Jersey's on the phone. It is truly amazing. Dr. Karen Green, talk to us about who you are and what you're doing here at the delegation.
Well, first, what I am is a sister to two sisters on this call today. Carol, I'm hugging you up for some tea as well, sister. It's one of those times. I am just as excited. I'm honored to be here, and it's not just about politics at this point. It's about patriotism. It's about pride. It's about just knowing that we are looking at our 47th president. Long time coming. 60 years of wanting to have had this, and here we are today. It's also ironic to us, Carol, that the first person who did this with this level of intrigue and ambition was also an islander in the Congresswoman Shirley Chisholm. And I am representing the state of Florida, which is where Shirley Chisholm actually retired to when she left, moved back to the state of Florida. I am excited. I'm honored. I serve currently as a vice chair of the Florida Democratic Party, as well as I'm one of the whips here. We're on the floor, and we are, Florida had a big change today. Kamala Harris, running for president, has engaged and excited our state. Last night, for the first time, the trajectory of victory has moved. We literally were able to pick up a couple seats in local. Our education piece has actually changed. And so people are voting, young people are voting. We now have 31,000 new volunteer voters in the state of Florida since this happened. So there's a whole lot of excitement. And like Carol says, we are going to be on that floor today. Every single day is a day for us to see where we are. And I'm thinking, unlike others, I actually believe this is not going to be as close as people are projecting. I really feel the spirit of the Obamas in that room last night. We can all talk about that, Carol. It was comparable, where that excitement that revived as the 44th president's wife said, hope is renewed. We can actually feel a revival of hope again. But before I hand the mic back over to you guys, I just want to say, here on this call, we have 3 Black women. And one of the most exciting things to me at last night's brilliant speeches that we heard, not only from Michelle Obama, but who should have been our 45th president in Hillary Clinton. I think what came out of this for me, the most momentous thing for me, my favorite part of everything was when Michelle said, the presidency might be one of those black jobs Trump mentioned when he just punctured it. The part that really did it is when she said it. She says, this must be one of the black jobs, and then she just tilted her head back in a black girl style. When she said it, she leaned her head back and just really punctured it by presenting it that yes, this is one of those black jobs. This presidency might very well be a black job. So, girls, I just love you, and we're excited. We're going to make it happen. And again, thank you for having us on your show, sister.
Absolutely, absolutely. I'm super excited. I mean, Michelle's speech spoke to us in a way that it made us really feel the passion. It resonated with us. I mean, she was spot on with describing what the nation is feeling. And I think that was really, really important. It was stirring, it was passionate, it was commanding, and it resonated in my heart and in my mind. I was just sitting there like, yes, yes, and yes. And I think for me, the thing that stuck out the most when she said, we need everyone basically involved, right? So she said in her way, we need everyone involved. And then she said, and don't believe because you didn't get a personal phone call,
right,
that you shouldn't be involved, because that's foolishness.
Right.
We all need to be involved. And I think that's where we are. And that's why we're on today, because it's an exciting time. The energy around this Democratic National Convention is palpable. I mean, just everywhere you go, you're feeling the energy and the drive. And like Michelle said last night, hope is renewed. And hope is renewed in a way that we understand it. So now we need to go and meet our voters where they are. So we need to make sure that we're in the places, in the swing states that they're in, and we're explaining to them not just that someone died for them to get the right to vote, but where they are. Everything is impacted by politics, and all politics is local. Politics is policy and regulations. So whether we're talking about our Department of Education, our healthcare system, or if we're talking about something as simple as being able to live and be comfortable in your own home, those are all things that are being impacted by policy, regulation, and that's all politics. And so I want anyone that's listening to us today to take charge of your duty at this point to make sure that we're getting this message out, that we are dispelling any lies and rumors that are going around, and telling the truth about who Kamala Harris and Tim Walz truly are, and how this is going to make a difference in all of our lives. And we're passionate about it because this is our life we're talking about.
And may I just interject, Carol? One of the things that you mentioned about policy, you know that I've been in the territories on the front line for democratic values. I think it's a great time for the collaboration, like you said, Carol, for the territorial delegation, the two issues of statehood and the Jones Act. It is imperative that these policy issues, I know this was the home, the other birthplace, the other home for Joe Biden, President Joe Biden, is the U.S. Virgin Islands. It is important that you, leading the delegation, I'm actually here to support you in that initiative, that this become a main part of the policy proposals of soon to be president, the 47th president, where we look to see statehood like here for Virgin Islands and for Puerto Rico, that you too will have an opportunity to vote in this presidential cycle. So yeah, I'm excited all around.
Absolutely. So I want to talk about some of what's going on the ground here. And so, I'm going to start off. I'll have, Karen, you talk about day one and a lot of the excitement around day one, some of the things that we are doing and have done, but more importantly, how do we get the listening audience more involved in what we're doing right now? I'll talk about day 2, and then and Carol will talk about day 2 as well. Carol, you were here day 1 too, so you could talk about a little bit about day 1 and what you felt in the moment. Any of the speakers that you want to highlight some of the importance of what they said, what was going on in the room, right? So we had a lot of energy in the room. I know when I was there for day 2, and I'm sure it's going to be even more energy in the room today. But once you, Karen, to talk about day 1 and the energy in the room, you and Carol, and then we'll move on to day 2, and then what we expect today for day 3 of the Democratic National Convention.
I could defer to Carol for starts. We were off to a great start. I mean, this was the energy, the excitement, the kickoff was fabulous. I think even the national anthem that was sung with the young symphonic group from Chicago, I don't think we've heard the national anthem done so well. It was beautiful. That was one part. Just the energy all around. There were some tweaks. We had protesters in Chicago. There are folks who were trying to stop our buses and the late starting and the orientations. But we are at a full place now where things are moving as planned. I think one of the highlights of the opening was really hearing from the surprise of our nominee, Kamala Harris, when she walked to the floor as a surprise for everyone just to get the energy going. It was momentous and historic to see a Black woman, not only a Black woman, but in all honesty, the most qualified candidate we've had in her professional life, a real woman walk out to that stage. It was by far euphoric and just historical for me.
And I was listening to all the speeches that led up to it, and I just was sitting there just in my work. It was just truly amazing hearing from the leaders and having them tell the story of who Kamala Harris, Vice President Kamala. Hello?
Having a little bit of technical difficulties. Anthony?
I can hear you.
Yeah, I'm sure. It looks like we may have lost Carol. So I'm not sure exactly what happened, or if you guys could hear, Dr. Karen Green and I were really just describing day 1 of the Democratic National Convention and how electric and powerful it was. And again, I said it before, but the energy was really palpable as powerful voices came together to set the tone for what we would expect this week. And, Karen just shared, from the national anthem to, having these young people in the room. And even when we looked around, right, Karen, when you looked around and you saw the diversity
Oh,
in the
absolutely.
room, it truly was a powerful, powerful showing of what we can do when we come together. It was a night that highlighted our collective strengths and a vision for our future, quite frankly. And this is just the beginning. So let's keep the momentum going. It was truly, truly a pleasure to be in the room. And then yesterday, Dr. Karen Green and I had another opportunity to really be on the day 2 version of it. And I'm telling you, having the Obamas, oh my goodness. Michelle was super amazing. She said what the nation, she spoke what the nation was feeling. She was unapologetic about it. And it was truly inspiring and amazing to hear that, that how powerful we can be and we will be together. And Dr. Karen Green just highlighted it. She said, hope is renewed. And I think that is something that we're going to walk into the next phase of this. We got 77 more days. We're going to walk in the next phase of this where we're actually bootstrapping, getting on the ground, talking to individuals, making sure that they understand that politics is policy and policy impacts their lives every single day. So Dr. Karen Green, talk to me a little bit more about how you felt about day 2 of the Democratic National Convention and just some of the things that you heard, because you are really have your hand on a pulse of what's going on as a delegate and a whip, because you have to bring together the consensus. And so talk to me about day 2 and what that looks like.
So I'm looking at day 2 as your viewers would have seen it, and that's where I'd like to present it.
Yes.
I think from the moment the show started, just hearing the tribute for those folks we've lost in the voice of Patti LaBelle was by far one of the first uplifting surprises we had last night. I think for me last night, one of the things that was defined was getting to know Doug. A man who was just a real human being, loving his wife, and even her chuckling laugh. He expressed just how real he is as the first gentleman. I think that just really showed us the woman she is. And then when he pointed out that she was not intimidated by foolishness,
that's
that
right.
She really when you see her smile, see her stern, it is sincere.
That's
and
right.
that this is the woman that he married and he loved. The point he talked about her being a mother, an intuitive mother to the children they share, and just the priorities she take in doing things, the domestication, the family orientation, and just the fact that she was able to balance, the choices she's made from the perspective of being a husband and a friend. And you didn't have to question that. What was really impressive is that here was this man talking about his beloved wife, and then to have the finale of having a wife who came before her husband, one who basically said, we all know to be the best orator we know in President Obama. But for him to see his wife coming behind her was a challenge, how dear he walked after her. It was just really a moment of love, unity. And to me, even that, to the comparison of the former president, we don't have that kind of pride. So it was really a night for me of really just experiencing who this person is, who we're looking to nominate, to elect, because he's already the nominee.
Right.
But to just see even the music, the genres, the fact that we were able to, every state was introduced with a theme song while we were doing roll call.
That was amazing. That was electrifying. Having that roll call, Dr. Karen Green, I mean, you got to see, and not just the roll call, right? The pictures, like they had, like the, whatever that state represented, that state tree, that state flower, they had those pictures that were visibly, as a background. And then have the states themselves step up to, the microphone and give you a little history of who they are as, where they are as a state, right? Describing their state, and then why they were supporting Kamala Harris, Vice President Kamala Harris. You're right. That roll call was special.
It really was. And then having the best DJ in the world,
DJ Cassidy.
Listen to me. The moment I saw the wheeling out, I'm like, what are we getting here? I thought it
Not
was.
me. I was like, those are turntables.
Yeah, but at first I thought it was a piano. I actually thought it was a piano being wheeled out, but in fact, it was really his turntable coming
Yeah.
out. And so we went from having him with having every genre introducing each state.
That's right.
And then it was the demographic participation. Each state had representation of every age group participating.
That's
Look
right.
at the delegation in comparison to the other we had. So it was really, 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 really euphoric. It was
it was euphoric. So day 2 of the Democratic National Convention was dynamic and energizing. The speakers brought passion and clarity to the issues that matter most to us. And we heard powerful calls for unity, for justice, for progress, and for fighting for our freedom, right? I mean, it was amazing. All aimed at building a brighter future for us. And I think that the momentum is here, right? So we're building the momentum. And again, First Lady, former First Lady Michelle Obama said it, hope is renewed, right? The building of what we are and who we are as a community, as a people. We were ready. We're ready to keep pushing forward. And that's why we're super excited that tonight we're going to have day 3 of the Democratic National Convention, and we're looking forward to that as well. And in addition to what's going on during the convention, there are caucuses and workshops. So the Women's Caucus was truly powerful, and I want to shout out our chair, our Democratic National Convention Chairman Moore is doing a wonderful job at really pulling together workshops and caucuses that we need to really understand how to do our part. And I think it's really important for that. We had the Disability Caucus. I took, I participated. I went to that on yesterday. We also had the small business. There was a forum on small business that was really powerful and impactful. There was youth councils, caucuses and conferences that are going on. It was something for every single body. Right. And I mean, it's really important for us to have these kinds of caucuses and workshops to really understand that though we're different, we're the same. Our needs are the same. And I think that was really powerful as well. Would you agree, Dr. Green?
Are you hearing me, Terry?
Yes, I'm hearing you now.
Yeah, for a moment you went, I wasn't hearing you at all. Sorry about that.
Nope, it's fine. So
Okay.
What about the caucuses and the workshops that we're able to attend while we're here that's going on during the day? And then even the state's interactions with each other. I know that Florida had a reception with Puerto Rico, really just kind of really bringing together the cohesiveness between both. Talk to me a little bit about those other things that are going on that we have.
So as you know, there are caucuses are happening across each day. There are different caucuses: the Black Caucus, Hispanic, Labor Caucuses, Faith Caucuses, unions or disabled. So every initiative group of in the structure of this country is represented with a level of study and engagement and interactions.
That's
and
right.
This has all the leaders as well. What we've been doing in our Florida delegation is every morning we have what we refer to as an interaction of invited states, particularly those in battleground states, Michigan, Chicago, Michigan, Pennsylvania, at play. We had these. Every morning we have governors, speakers, senators coming in to speak with us to really, highlight the engagement and the collaboration, because right now, who's winning? You want to share ideas. You want to share how we can advance different priorities. And so that's what's happening right now. We're having an exchange of strength and an upliftment of weaknesses in engaging our demographic or yeah. Mm-hmm.
Definitely. Yeah, that's a great place for us to take a quick break. We have this strength and an exchange. And so we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back to talk to you a little bit more about what's going on at the Democratic National Convention.
everybody, welcome back for another Healthy Minute. If you want to boost your brain health, make sure you eat more foods that are packed with omega-3 fatty acids, foods such as salmon and sardines. And if you want to increase your protein content, which is also excellent for your body, add some codfish. Codfish, fresh codfish in fact, is low in mercury, high in protein, and has a great number of vitamins and minerals. For this Healthy Minute, I'm Dr. Hafizullah. See you again soon. Thank you for watching. Please remember to click subscribe for the latest videos and updates. See you soon.
I used to watch BET, MTV, VH1, now I watch Tempo. Soca, Calypso, Reggae Dancehall. Don't stall, better get tuned in to the Tempo. Don't have cable, they got an app. Go to your app store, download that. Whether it's tourism, cuisine, or the social scenes, if it ain't Tempo, it's a rap. Who got the Caribbean views? Tempo. It's the latest in Caribbean news. Tempo. You tryna cook Caribbean food? Tempo. You know they got the music videos too. Tempo. Who got the Caribbean views? Tempo. It's the latest in Caribbean news. Tempo. You tryna cook Caribbean food? Tempo. You know they got the music videos too. Tempo.
Welcome to our TV network, your ultimate destination for all things exciting and essential. From mouth-watering food to the latest in fashion, health, education, music, movies, and news, plus thrilling sports and breathtaking travel, our TV network brings it all to you. Tune in today and experience the best of every world, all in one place, rtv.network.
Welcome back to the Coaxum Report. Myself and Dr. Karen Green are on just really walking through a play-by-play on what's going on now at the Democratic National Convention. When we took a quick break, Dr. Karen and Green and I were talking about, in addition to what's going on at the actual convention, there are caucus workshops and delegate platforms that are also happening. And so Dr. Karen Green highlighted some of them: the Black Caucus, the Hispanic Caucus, the AAPI Caucus, the Native American Caucus, and of course the councils, the Ethic Council. There's caucuses for the LGBTQ community, Labor Council, Small Business Council, Environmental and Climate Crisis Council. All of these things are going on. All of this information is being shared around these experiences. The states are coming together and they're giving us a lot of their knowledge, information, best practices, barriers, all of the things that are impacting your lives. And that's why it's really important for us to all come together in this space to talk about what's impacting our states. And the Democratic National Convention gives us an opportunity to do that. And so there's various groups that are doing that are having these workshops and meetings and really giving us what we need to go back and be successful in our communities. And so these meetings discuss what's pertinent to us. And I'm just happy to be a part of these platforms. There's also different platform discussions about the delegates and the parties. And Dr. Karen Green can talk a little bit more about that. And then the workshops and panels. I know the Women's Caucus had an amazing panel of individuals that came and talked about issues that are pertinent to women's, their healthcare and their reproductive rights and equity and all of the things that we are experiencing in our different communities were on display, and ways to come up with solutions. And I always love the part about solutions. So not just talking about the barriers and then explaining some of the best practices and big ideas, but also having solutions on deck. And there's also press briefings and interviews that are going on as well. And then the highlights of the Democratic National Convention is what Dr. Karen Green, Carol, and I spoke about, is when, we're gaveling in and we're on the convention floor, and the states are having an opportunity to, one, do a roll call and talk about all of the things that are impacting them in their states. As far as when we do our roll call, we have them talk a little bit about the history. They nominated, the delegates pledged themselves to our candidate. Well, now she's our presidential candidate, Vice President Kamala Harris, and told, why basically they are giving their support to her. And I think that's important. And Dr. Karen Green, you want to jump in at any time, please feel free to do so, because this is something like you're on the floor, you're a delegate, you're a majority whip, like you're all hands on deck with a lot what's going on at Democratic National Convention. And I get to sit back and kind of experience it as somewhat of, I'm participating. I'm really just taking it all in so that I can take the information and knowledge back to the community so that we can get on the ground. We can have our young people involved. We're meeting them where they at. And that's something Dr. Karen Green spoke about when she was on my show the other day. We're not just talking to them about what happened in history, but we're talking about what's happening right now in their lives and how it's being impacted by policy, how it's being impacted by politics, and why they must be involved at this point and at this time. Dr. Karen Green?
So one of the things that we are so excited about is that in the state of Florida, we actually have reproductive rights on our ballot for November as well. And that's, in my opinion, one of the reasons why we're going to be having so many women participating, or just if you could hear from what was happening. But this is also something that not only did our nominee Kamala Harris speak of, but so did her husband.
That's right.
He actually reminded us that this is something that she will, in fact, she has said it needs to be ratified, that she's going to do whatever she can to make sure that what Donald Trump did in reversing this, we also need to take into consideration when we're voting that one of the things we missed in the last cycle in 2020 is that whoever becomes president is going to basically have the Supreme Court justices. The courts would be stacked. We have retiring judges who are going to be gone. So when we're voting now, we need to be thinking as well that the rights we currently have, the constitutional rights we have, could very well be revoked just as we experienced this, Roe versus Wade. Imagine if we get 3 more judges, with the retiring judges that are there possibly. And so it is important that when we're doing all this, these are the things we're talking about to folks in our state and across the nation. So yes, I'm excited. I know it's going to be a long time. And not only you can hear me, I'm a little hoarse. I'm not on camera because I'm trying to prepare myself for the next 7 hours of just full excitement moving into tomorrow's TERP, of really having the historic handover, of just seeing there when in my lifetime, I get to tell my granddaughter and she will tell her great grandkids that her grandma was in the room when this historic thing happened in Chicago.
That's right.
And her grandma, because I don't think I told you this, on the 19th of August was my birthday.
Yes.
On the floor when we really convened this meeting to nominate the first woman.
It was in your honor, Dr. Karen Green.
Listen, to be whole modest, I just want to give God thanks for being here.
Absolutely.
And just thanking him for blessing us with this experience. Yourself, my sister, and Carol, I know she probably jumped off because other cameras are probably on her to get into more interviews.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I think that it's important that you did highlight that. And it is, it definitely is a month of birth and a month of beginnings, right? And it did kick off on your birthday, which is significant, that you're here to experience it. And your granddaughter definitely will say, my grandmother was in this historic moment. And I want all of our children that are watching and that are listening to us to understand that we are all in this historic moment together. And I'll also be celebrating my birthday on August the 27th. And so I'm looking forward to just moving this thing forward, not just in my communities in New York, but also traveling to Pennsylvania and traveling to Atlanta and traveling to see you in Florida and making sure that we understand the importance of this election and that we're meeting our voters where they are.
Yes.
We're meeting them where they are on issues that are important to them. We are looking to really engage. And that's what I saw here. That's what I saw in this Democratic National Convention. Like you said, Dr. Karen Green, we saw a lot of different diversity in the room. There were all different generations, different age groups. There was mothers and daughters that were part of this experience. And I think that speaks volumes to what Michelle said about hope being renewed. And I think we must, it is our responsibility to take what we're feeling in this moment to the streets.
Yep.
Take it to the streets, meet people where they are, encourage them and inspire them to tell others about what we're doing and why we're doing it. And let's take it to the finish line. Like, we are ready to take it across the finish line. We don't want to just get at the finish line. We want to take it across the finish line. And something you said, Dr. Green, that I am, from your mouth to God's ears, you said it's not going to be as close as folks think. Vice President Kamala Harris is going to win and win big, and she does it with us being all together in what we believe in.
And I'm seconding that again. I'm repeating that. I'm saying we have to, if we don't. So here's the thing. There's actually a need for us to vote big, because if we have, and we don't want to have any kind of miscount, misinformation. It needs to be the kind of an outcome that is not even questionable. Right. It needs to be a landslide.
That's right.
There's no way to even think, whatever. So it's important that we do this, and we do it as the call. I think one of the things that came out of last night was really a call to participating.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's what the Democratic National Convention, that's what it does. It formally nominates the party's candidates for vice president, for president, right? Which is what was done, right? And then there is the unifying of the party, right? There's unifying the party. The convention serves at that crucial moment to really unify us in our beliefs and bring us together so that there are not different factions out there. We're together with the party to rally behind our chosen candidate. And we've chosen Kamala Harris and Tim Walz. And it's important for everyone to understand that, to be on the same page, to be beating the same drum, to be messaging the same way. And so the Democratic National Convention is setting the agenda for that. And so that's why when we're talking about, we're being in day 3, there's agenda being set in this party's platform that outlines our policies, priorities. And Dr. Karen Green says reproduction is on the ballot in Florida. And that's important. That's a priority. And that's a policy that is impacting us across this country, not just in Florida, but across this country. And so our vision for our country, our priorities, and our policy are on display here during this convention. And we're together in our shared platform and our shared beliefs. And that's why it's really important for us to come to you live, talking a little bit, taking a pause from our daily schedules to make sure that you understand the importance of what we're doing here and building this momentum, generating this enthusiasm, making sure that we're on the same page here at this convention on this platform. And then the other part of it, Dr. Green, and we see this every single day through our speakers, there is a showcase of the leadership, right? Mm-hmm. They're the party leaders, the rising stars, the influential figures in our community, and they're here. They're talking about what we're about, the vision, the policies, and the values of our party. And I think that it's really important for us to note that. And I know we talked about our Hillary Rodham Clinton, who should have been the first woman, who is now here and saying, our time is now.
Right.
Our time is now. We didn't miss our turn. It's now. It's now and it's right now. And so that's why it's important for us to even have these leaders.
I think before we go there was something I need to clear up.
Yes.
You know, one of the things I spoke of earlier with the territories is that, you know, this is my opinion. Let me just be clear that this is not a policy issue that is recommended. I haven't seen any recommendations, or am I suggesting that that even our representative from the U.S. Virgin Islands is sharing my views. I think you know, statehood is something that is being decided by people who are from the U.S. territories, and the decision is going to be made based on their ballots. But I just know that there is a pride of anyone living in the U.S. territories who want to be able to vote for the president, and so I spoke from that sentimental place, not from a place of being one from the territories. So just to be clear, that was not the opinion of anyone on the call or who was there with us. It was my opinion, basically wanting to, maybe it's the euphoria of voting and having delegates in the room, just being there as a delegation and not being able to vote for the president. So if I misspoke, I just want to say that was my opinion. And, and I still feel that, you know, as there's just so much that the pride I know of a delegate being in that room, just the idea of having been able to vote for the first female president, I can only imagine what that feels like.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I thank you so much just for clearing that up. And just, you know, really sharing your, and I think that just speaks to your passion. We've had the honor to be a part of, you know, just moving things forward, encouraging, inspiring, bringing resources to the territories. And as a result of that, we feel real passionate about making sure that they have their fair share, right? Making sure that they are getting everything that they need to be successful, because they're a tenacious people, you know, Virgin Island nice.
You know what, import tea.
Absolutely, and Puerto Rico as well. And so I just want to thank you for clearing up that. So this is historic. Those of you that are listening to us today, this is truly a historic time. This convention is truly highlighting all of our significant you know, wins. It's highlighting all of the wonderful things that we do as a nation together and how we can do it even better moving forward. It's key decisions. It's our future. It's our freedoms. And we, you know, we see the signs, vote, vote, vote. This is our freedom. This is our time. And that's why that in this moment, it is truly a pleasure and an honor to be here in Chicago, Chi-Town, experiencing this moment. I mean, I think back to Shirley Chisholm and Geraldine Ferrara and all of the wonderful trailblazers that we stood on their shoulders to get to this moment. And it is truly a pleasure to be here. And Dr. Karen Green, I know you feel it too, because it's really been a euphoric time, you know, just walking around, having conversations, speaking to others. And we're going to, you know, bring to you live a couple of interviews later on that we're conducting, just of people, everyday people, and their feelings about this historic moment in time. And so, Dr. Karen Green, I'm going to let you give us our final thoughts. It's, you know, funny how time flies when you're having fun, but give us our final thoughts on what we're going to expect today, and then a little bit about tomorrow. And then we're going to end the show with understanding that we're better together.
Wow. It's a heavy task. Well, first of all, I haven't looked at today's. I know it's going to be a surprise for many. I'm going to be truly busy today just preparing for tomorrow's event, in all honesty. I think what I would love to leave with is just knowing that we are really the notion of being for the people. We are the people. When I looked at the visuals, just the people around, the comparison to the last convention that was held by the Republicans, and to see ours now, this was such a difference. So you mentioned it before. This was in fact what the America looked like. But the people in this room represented every person in this country. And I think for me, it's simply that we have to protect this freedom where we can all be in the same room and not go back to coming from the back of the room or the back of the bus, or being separated or segregated, or being deported, or being ostracized, or being just disclassified. So for me, I am excited. I'm looking forward to us doing this again. Maybe we'll come back just when we're wrapping up on Thursday. But it has been a wonderful experience. This is my fourth convention, and my third being a whip. And I'm just saying that of all of them, I must modestly say that this to me has been the most empowering.
Absolutely. And I mean, I have to jump in and say this. You're absolutely right. Every day has been just amazing, right? And you talked about the freedom. So Monday, your birthday, it was truly, a dedication to you, but it was for the people, right? Where President Biden, Dr. Jill Biden, Secretary Hillary Rodham Clinton, and the Chicago Mayor Johnson spoke, right? And then it was Tuesday, a bold vision. For America's future was the theme. And then we had, of course, our President Obama and former First Lady Michelle Obama. We had the second gentleman who we really could feel the love for his wife through his basic testimony of how they met and who they were as the first family to be. And then on Wednesday, which is now, it's a fight for freedoms, a fight for freedom. So we went from the people to a bold vision for America's future, to a fight for the freedoms. And we're expecting Governor Tim Walz today, our vice president nominee, our President Clinton, and Speaker Emerita Nancy Pelosi. And so those are all very powerful voices that we're expecting to hear today. And plus, I'm sure we're going to have some other super amazing guests. And then on Thursday, for our future. And that's when, of course, Vice President Kamala Harris, a nomination acceptance speech. And I am looking forward to that. And that's when Dr. Karen Green said, that's what I'm getting ready for. I'm getting ready for that. Absolutely. It's going to be truly empowering. So, stay tuned. We're coming back to you. I want to thank you so much for being part of the Coaxum Report. I want to thank Carol Burke for jumping on, talking to us a little bit about the U.S. Virgin Islands and what's going on and how wonderful she feels in this experience. I want to definitely thank my sister from another mister, Dr. Karen Green, who is always super amazing. She is doing it. And I want to thank her for just sharing the energy, her experience as a delegate, her experience as this being her fourth convention, and sharing with us the power of what that truly means across this country. And I'm just honored to be a part of this experience and this historic time. And I'm saying to everyone that's listening, even if you're abroad, you can vote. Make sure that, you're getting yourself in order to be able to vote if you are a resident of the United States. So I'm so super happy to just share this with you. And I want to thank you for being a part of the Coaxum Report. Look forward to our wrap up on Thursday when that historic moment happens and its acceptance speech that I am so looking forward to hearing from our Vice President Kamala Harris. So have a super amazing day on purpose. Take care.
Welcome to our TV network, your ultimate destination for all things exciting and essential. From mouth-watering food to the latest in fashion, health, education, music, movies, and news, plus thrilling sports and breathtaking travel, our TV network brings it all to you. Tune in today and experience the best of every world, all in one place, rtv.network.